I didn't grow up here in Ocala. I actually grew up in Oxon Hill, Maryland, which is southern Maryland. When school would let out myself, and then a little bit later on in life, my sister would actually come down and spend some summers with my grandparents. We would spend a lot of time over at the nature park Silver Springs. They're famous for the glass bottom boats out there. But they also had jungle cruises and different things like that. So I remember a lot of the wildlife, and we got to go on safari rides, and that was my first adventure. I mean, down in Florida and actually seeing alligators and things like that we just didn't see that up in Maryland, obviously. But I was definitely a big tomboy. I was into the dirt bikes and the motorcycles and four-wheelers and playing sports. And my dad was a big stock car racer, so we spent a lot of weekends at the races. And I got that opportunity as a tomboy, I guess, to go down and spend the time down in the pits.
While Lisa Miller was starting high school in Maryland, her parents decided to move the family to Florida to be closer to her grandparents. As she settled into her new school, Lisa would meet Bobby. In 1987, the high school sweethearts became lifelong companions and began the journey of building their own family, which now includes grandkids. A year later, Lisa joined the bank as a teller. Her first day on the job turned out to be quite eventful.
About 3 o'clock that day, I got robbed. So my very first day on the job ever as a bank teller, I ended up getting robbed. And it was a note. It was a nonviolent, nothing, bad or anything like that. But I mean, it was pretty scary, but it didn't scare me off. I went home, and that night I had talked to my husband, and I said, look, I got to go back tomorrow. And I did, and it was fine. Like I said, it was nothing that was too bad.
From that day forward, Lisa has exemplified a steadfastness and loyalty to retail banking that few could match. Today, Lisa's 3 decades of experience has made her a valued resource to her associates and her customers.
30 years plus with the company, that's dedication, that's commitment. And she's gone through a lot in 30 years, a lot of changes, a lot of transition. I've only been her manager for 3.5 years, and she's so adaptable and just so consistent. And then seeing her consistency in her level of performance. She's not one that I have to come in and push or pull. She's one that's a leader amongst her peers, a pace setter for us, and that's all internally driven by her.
Wherever she needs to be a coach, she's a coach. When she needs to be a leader, she's always a leader. A branch manager, that role will always be there. It's just whenever or whatever the situation may be where she needs to step in and do that role, she does it all.
From mortgage to our 401k plan to a lot of the providers and a majority of the staff, she's developed that relationship where I don't hesitate to reach out to her. I've done it on several occasions, and she's always been there for me.
She always puts her heart into everything, whether it's an associate getting to the next level or a client meeting their financial goal. She puts her whole heart into it, and she's not going to stop until she gets there.
Just as close to Lisa's heart as her customers and her team, so too are the young girls of the PACE Center for Girls in Marion County, where Lisa has served on the board for the last decade.
PACE's mission is to help girls and young women have better lives. And ultimately, we do that through education, counseling, and advocacy for them.
Essentially, we work with girls who have had challenges in their life, and we provide them the academic resources that they need to catch up, because typically a girl who has suffered through some trauma is behind academically. And we also combine that with strong counseling and therapy services so that we can help her overcome the challenges that she has faced and continues to face in her life. And the thing that I just love about Lisa is that she has the passion for what we do and working with these girls who have sometimes had a really rough start in life. But she also brings compassion to that. And so the combination of those two things with representation from the bank helps bring community resources to help us, so we do it in the right way. So she's one of those board members that's there with the right feel, and the right heart, but the resources to really help as well, and she helps move us forward on a regular basis.
With all that she does in her community, both through her work at the bank and as a Pay Center board member, it's no wonder that the town of Ocala, Florida, values her so highly as a trusted resource and tireless advocate. And like she was as a little girl in Maryland, Lisa Miller is the crew chief for everyone in her life.